So it is time to get started. Good evening and welcome to our May 12th Douglas County Board of County Commissioners business meeting. We want to welcome any of you who are at the Douglas County Courthouse or joining us online. I'll just pass on a bit of information regarding how we'll run our meeting on Zoom during this time of social distancing. If visual aids are used during the meeting, the presenter will share their screen and recall. Participants will not be able to view them without a computer, smartphone, or tablet. All participants will be entered into the meeting with their audio muted, meaning the commission and the public will not be able to hear you. Participants will be unmuted when their agenda item comes up. We ask that all online presenters use good conference call etiquette, mute their line when not speaking, and introduce themselves each time they speak. If you have a public comment on an agenda item or under regular public comment, please use the raise your hand function on Zoom. Staff will call on you and unmute you. We ask that speakers give their name and address for the minutes. The county reserves the right to shut off the microphone and remove any speaker from the meeting if they are vulgar, rude, or inappropriate. A recording of this meeting will be available on our website after the meeting. We will get started with our consent agenda. Would either the commissioners like to pull anything from the consent agenda?
No, thank you.
Nope, me neither. So I would move to
See if any public. Yep.
Thank you.
Sarah, is there anyone at the courthouse who would like to pull something from the consent agenda?
We don't have anyone here, and then I'm going to be monitoring the online today. Jill is out, so if anyone is interested in pulling an item off the consent agenda online, please use the raise your hand function on Zoom. I'm not seeing anyone, so I think we can proceed.
Commissioner Reed, please go ahead.
Thank you. I would move to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
All of those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And with that, we will move on to general public comment. Sarah, the lack of mask makes me think you might be alone at the courthouse, but do we have anyone online for public comment?
Again, if anyone's interested in making public comment, please just raise your hand, use the raise your hand function on Zoom, and we will move you into the webinar for that. I'm not seeing anyone, so I think we have no public comment.
Okay, we will keep moving right along onto item 3.1 on our regular agenda. Planning Department, consider a site plan for SP 210042. I believe we have a presentation on this.
Yep, Mary Miller from Lawrence Douglas County Planning is headed into the webinar to make a presentation on this item. Or did, oh my goodness, we may have just lost her. Oh, no, she's there. Here we go.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mary Miller, City County Planner. And this application is for a site plan for a 22,000 square foot building for the McFarland Aviation Business that is located at 680 East 1700 Road. And I will pull up my PowerPoint. Share it. And this shows the property that is the lot that the McFarland business is on. The lot to the north contains hangars for the McFarland airstrip or Vinland airstrip or Vinland Airport. And that airstrip is shown here in yellow, just generally. So there's some hangars, and this building on that northern portion is associated with the McFarland business. And this business has been in place since 2011 when the property was platted and rezoned for limited industrial uses. And there's been a series of site plans that have come forward to the County Commission. Each time a new building has been planned as an expansion, they've come forward. The last site plan showed the area here as the location for the new building, and that's where this building that's being proposed would be located. This graphic also shows the proximity of the unincorporated town of Vinland. This shows kind of a detail from the site plan. As I mentioned, this is with the lot on the building on the northern lot, which is associated with the McFarland Aviation Business. These are the existing buildings, and the building outlined in red is the subject of this site plan. One new thing happened this year is that with the 2020 revised zoning regulations, we now send out notification of site plans. Previously, they just were processed and went to the county commission, but the neighbors were not notified. So neighbors within 1/2 mile received mailed notice and signs were posted at the site. And we did receive comments from the neighbors as mentioned in the staff report. And I'll go through those. We forwarded these comments on to the applicant who had a neighborhood meeting with the neighbors through Zoom. And then he proposed some resolutions. And at the end, we provided the resolutions and the revised plans to the neighbors who indicated that that was acceptable. One of their principal concerns was with lighting. It appears that the existing building, some of the windows, the first thing was the parking lot lighting was taller than the building. And so it's visible to those residents in Vinland. And the applicant and the architect noted that the new building, the height of the new building should block the parking lot lights from the view of the residents. So the building itself should take care of that issue. They also had concerns that the windows, light from the windows, especially on the east side of the new building, would be very visible to them and would impact the character of the area. And they noted that they would put shades or blinds on the inside of the windows to limit that impact. And this will be added as a note on the face of the site plan. And as a matter of fact, the applicant just recently provided a site plan that has these notes, so they have no objection to adding those. Another comment regarding lighting was that the lighting not be left on all night long, and the applicant agreed. He noted that the exterior lights on the east, north, and south, these are typically just over the overhead doors, that these would be switch operated and would be used only when needed. And this will be noted on the face of the site plan as well as a condition. The neighbors had concern with the glare from the roof of the existing building. Those tin roofs oftentimes provide more glare than you would anticipate. The applicant noted that the new building may block some south reflection, but that it probably would not block much reflection in the summer. So that's one of the issues that just wasn't able to be resolved. They were concerned with lights in the high windows on the existing building, and the applicant noted that these should be blocked with the new building as well. And another request they had was that the lighting on the east side of the building be operated by motion sensors. And the applicant has indicated that the only overhead doors would be on, but they prefer that they be switch operated just because motion sensor lights can be triggered by wind, weather, and various other things. And so they thought it'd be more sensitive to just if people would just turn them on and off when they're actually in use rather than being motion sensors. The neighbors to the east asked for more landscaping to buffer the facility from Vinland. And so on the site plan, they had 19 trees originally, and that was increased to 40. So there'll be quite a few trees. They are pretty much right along the east side of the building because they do have the constraint with the airstrip being located just to the east. They have to keep the trees out of that transitional airport zone. And the neighbors asked if noise from construction could be limited to from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the applicant agreed to limit construction hours from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And this will also be noted on the face of the plan. These are conditions that we don't usually add, but since these were requested by the neighbors and agreed to, we thought that would be the best place to put them. This is just a detail showing all that additional landscaping that rather than 19 trees, there'll be 40. These will need to be planted prior to the release of certificates of occupancy. And so staff recommends approval of the site plan for the new 22,000 square foot building based on the findings in the staff report and subject to the conditions. And I believe that the applicant is present today, but I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any for me.
This is Commissioner Portillo. I don't have any question. Well, I guess I do have one question. I was kind of surprised the construction from 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That seems like a very early start. But you said that neighbors were notified and are good with that start?
Yes, it was 7:30 a.m. Yeah, and I don't know if the idea is your noise, people will get there and get put together and maybe the noise won't start till 8 a.m. But I passed that on to them and they were agreeable to that.
Okay, as long as the neighbors were already notified.
This is Commissioner Reed here. I had a similar question, or I guess just wanted to clarify. I did notice that you just mentioned 7:30 a.m. in the staff report. It also noted 7 a.m. In there. And so I wanted to make sure I knew which one had been settled on and which time the neighbors had been notified of.
I'm Mary Miller, City County Planner. I don't recall the 7 a.m. So that was probably just an error on my part. But
Okay.
7:30 is the time frame.
Okay, thanks for confirming. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any questions. Thanks, Mary.
This is Commissioner Portillo. We will open this up to public comment. Sarah, do we have anyone online for public comment?
Again, if you're interested in providing public comment on this item, please raise your hand function, but I'm not seeing anyone, so I don't believe we have any.
Any further discussion by commissioners?
I would just say how grateful I am for McFarland Aviation. They have continued to grow. This is a great business out there who's just really doing some amazing things. It's neat to see them grow year after year. And Mary, I want to thank you. I mean, that change obviously had an impact, right? Once we started notifying neighbors, we got some feedback, and I think that shows better civic engagement and a better practice by us to sort of see what those conditions, without asking people to come to a meeting and then us have to make plans on the fly. So I think this is a great example of how notification to neighbors was really needed, and it seems to be working so far. Thank you.
I don't have any other comments, but I am ready to make a motion. I move to approve a site plan SP-21-00042 for a new 22,000 square foot building for McFarland Aviation on approximately 39.6 acres at 680 East 1700 Road, based on the findings in the staff report and subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Second.
All of those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mary. And we will go to our regular agenda item 3.2, Public Works. Consider a Willow Spring Township request to rescind the minimum maintenance designation on a portion of East 1000 Road. Do we have a presentation for this, Sarah?
Yes, Commissioners, County Surveyor Kevin Sontag will be coming into the panel to make a presentation. Kevin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll start by saying that I seem to be having some unstable internet errors on my screen right now. So I hope you are all able to hear and see me during this presentation. Very good. Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, commissioners. I'd like to start by giving you a little background for this agenda item. E1000 Road between the South County line and N100 Road in Willow Springs Township was originally opened in 1870 as a public full maintenance road. It remained that way until 1994, when a portion of this road from N100 Road to a point approximately 3,800 feet south was officially declared minimum maintenance by the Board of County Commissioners. However, since at least the year 2000 and up through the present day, this portion of road has actually been maintained by Willow Springs so that normal everyday vehicles could travel on it. It physically appears to be a full maintenance road, but it technically remains a minimum maintenance road. We are now wanting to fix the situation by rescinding the minimum maintenance designation and making this an official full maintenance road again. A hearing regarding this road was held at the Willow Springs Township monthly meeting on April 7th. No members of the public voiced any opposition, and the Township Board of Highway Commissioners made their opinion known that they feel the minimum maintenance designation should be rescinded. Their certificate of opinion is being presented to the Board of County Commissioners tonight, as well as a resolution. This resolution officially commences the public process to rescind the minimum maintenance designation on this portion of road. And it does ask the Lawrence Douglas County Planning Commission for their opinion on the matter. Looking towards the future, once the Planning Commission holds their public hearing and makes their opinion, this issue will come back to the Board of County Commissioners, where we will hold a public hearing, take any public comment, and then decide whether the minimum maintenance designation should officially be rescinded. In the meantime, we ask the commissioners to approve tonight's resolution, and we can continue to move forward with this process. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Portillo. I don't have any questions. Do we have questions?
Commissioner Reed, I do have a question just out of curiosity. That was a great quick summation of step by step. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
I'm just curious, the motivation behind, well, I think I understand the motivation behind it. I'm curious if you can articulate if there's any specific benefits that will come along with this eventually being fully rescinded and documented in a way that that declares it full maintenance as it's already being maintained. Is there a particular tangible benefit, or is this a tidying up of kind of records within the township?
It is a bit of both. There is some tidying up of the records in the sense that by rescinding the designation, it will reflect the actual status of the road. There really is no point in having a minimum maintenance designation if the road is being fully maintained. There is a benefit to any landowner on this particular stretch of road. A property owner cannot have a residential entrance off of a minimum maintenance road segment. If the designation is rescinded, they would be able to apply for a residential permit if they so wished. As the road is travelable by an average everyday car, it is a possibility that someone would want to build a house out there at some point. So there would be some sort of tangible benefit for a property owner. From a township perspective, I think it is just kind of a cleanup issue.
Great, thanks.
This is Commissioner Portillo. If we don't have additional questions, we can open this up for any public comment. Do we have public comment online, Sarah?
I'm not seeing any public comment on this item.
We will bring it back to the commission then for any discussion. As Commissioner Reed mentioned, it seemed like a very thorough presentation, and it sounds like folks have had a chance to weigh in and haven't had any objections to moving this forward.
That's correct. And there will be 2 more places for anyone to voice opinions to or for or against. The next would be at the City County Planning Commission, and then again at the County Commission meeting that would follow that.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the attached resolution that officially commences the process of rescinding the minimum maintenance designation on East 1000 Road in Willow Springs Township and request a recommendation from the Lawrence Douglas County Planning Commission.
All of those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
commissioners.
Thank you, Kevin. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. Do we have any appointments to discuss or consider?
Commissioners, I think we forwarded a housing authority reappointment. I'll see if I can pull that up. You would have gotten it from Rob.
It looks like the reappointment of Jamie Davidson to the Housing Authority Board.
Correct.
I'll go ahead and move that we reappoint Jamie Davidson to the Housing Authority Board.
I will second and bring that to a vote. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. Any other appointments to consider? Okay, then we will move on to miscellaneous items. Sarah, what do you have for us?
Commissioners, my memo is attached. The big item is the legislative update that we got at the end of the session. Little Government Relations will be at our meeting next week to also provide kind of an in-person wrap up of that. That's all I have to highlight in that memo.
This is Commissioner Portillo. Any questions for Sarah?
Nope. Thank you.
None from me either. Thanks, Sarah.
I will just, this is Commissioner Portillo again, I will just say as far as miscellaneous, we had a really great CJCC, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council meeting yesterday. And there was a discussion of bond data as well as a new dashboard from the sheriff's office presented. I think that there was some solid coverage of our conversation of the data presented, but I do just want to highlight that I'm really excited that we have another dashboard. I do think that this is a really fantastic move for our community as far as transparency and access to data for the public, and kind of making sure that we're having those conversations across agencies, because this is a way for the sheriff's office to share more information with the judges who are sitting in the district court, as well as with the district attorney's office and our defense bar and the community at large. So I'm really excited about this new trend of so many fantastic dashboards, and was really thankful to Dr. Cradens and Mike Bauer for rolling that one out for us yesterday. I think that the conversation around the bond data also kind of showed a need for a broader conversation about the role of bond and what that looks like in our community. So I'm excited for a future CJCC meeting where we're gonna really dig into all of the nitty gritty around bonds. So it was a great meeting. We do have a lot more conversation than I think we used to have in that particular council. So we didn't get through our whole agenda. And I think that that's been pretty on trend for 2021 in the CJCC, but I'm really thankful to our community members who are bringing a lot of great questions to the table. Do we have any other miscellaneous items for this evening?
Commissioners, the only thing and it's sort of unusual for me to mention this, I think it'd probably be worthwhile to mention, I know that Melinda Henderson's passing and she has been a local community advocate. And I know that there's been some conversation. She's clearly been engaged in a number of issues. So I know our thoughts are with Melinda's family and friends.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I that was on my list here. And so I for those of you that know Melinda, and many in local government know Melinda, she was always very independent and always held people to make sure they found out all the information on an issue. And when I was first thinking about running for county commission, she was very helpful. She was probably the first Twitter response I got, and that I always really appreciated her. And she always talked very honestly and very plainly. We will miss her engagement across this community. So I just wanted to take a minute. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing that up. Thanking Melinda, and I know we will all miss her.
This is Commissioner Reed here. I don't have any miscellaneous items to add.
This is Commissioner Portillo. We may have a new record for second fastest meeting since we've had a majority Shannon commission. So I thank you all for your efficiency this evening.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, we will adjourn.
Enjoy the end of the sunshine.
Thank you.
Night,
Thank you
everyone.
all.